I'm Birgit Wild, and I'm going to teach you in 4 steps how to do Nordic walking. Okay, the primary benefits about Nordic walking really are that you are engaging 90% of your muscles. The only other sport that comes close to that is probably swimming. The only difference there is you don't have the gravity effect that you get with walking. Nordic walking is very good for people who have the typical sit-at-your-desk syndrome in terms of headaches, aches in your shoulders, in the back of your neck. It alleviates pain in the lower back. Half an hour Nordic walking 2 to 3 times a week is probably enough to keep you at a reasonable fitness level, and the maximum amount of time you should actually spend on Nordic walking is probably around an hour, unless you're super duper fit, because it actually takes quite a lot of energy to do Nordic walking, and you couldn't sustain it for more than 2, 3, 4 hours depending on your fitness level. Before we learn how to Nordic walk, we actually need to learn how to walk. So we'll start carrying our poles, and the most important thing for Nordic walking is to lengthen your stride. So I'm going to take a couple of steps now to show you how to stride longer. Also, you need to make sure that you place your heel first, roll over the sole of your foot, and then get into the next stride. Okay, when we actually strap into the poles, the first thing you notice, the poles are marked right and left. So basically the way you strap into your pole is you open the strap up, and the very technical term is dangly bit. So with the dangly bit down, you put your hand all the way through, wrap the hand around the handle, and then basically close the Velcro around it. And then you do exactly the same thing with your left hand, and there you go. That's how a Nordic walking pole fits. And you will notice they look slightly different from your normal walking poles, because the handles are actually more ergonomically shaped. The next step is actually taking our first way into Nordic walking. And the first thing you do is you drag your pole simply behind you. You now have to start learning how to plant the pole. And the planting is basically done by stabbing the pole somewhere between the back of your front leg and the beginning or the start of your back leg. So now we're going to put this into practice, planting the pole. So you can see the arm swings forward, left arm forwards, right leg forward, so we're doing alternate arm-leg movements. Okay, we've now learned how to plant the pole, so the final stage is we need to push our arms through to the back. And the way it works is really you start pushing at the moment when the arm is level with your hip. So I'll demonstrate again. By doing this, you're actually feeling the back of your arms, the triceps. You're engaging all your stomach muscles. And by lengthening the stride, you can feel your hamstrings. So that's a lot of muscles that are moved when you Nordic walk. Okay, you've seen me do the Nordic walking on grass, and obviously on grass the tip of the pole is alright as it is, but for those of you who live in more urban areas, you may want to do it pottering around your housing estate, so that's possible as well, but you will need one of these, which is lovingly called a booty. or asphalt pour would be the technical term, which basically goes at the end of the pole, like that, in alignment, parallel, these two pointy bits, and then you can go off and do your Nordic walking on tarmac without annoying your neighbors. What I always say, Nordic walking is a sport that should be enjoyed, not endured, and therefore it is a very sociable sport. You can natter along whilst you do it, and it's just generally speaking a good outdoor exercise that burns 20% more energy than any other exercises you do, and you can usually keep it up for much longer than, for instance, running, because you don't appear to be out of breath as quickly as you would do with running along. Can I stop now?